The Frontline starts now.
And we welcome you to another episode of the Frontline podcast. I'm pleased to be joined by Cayden Kowal and Owen Kahl. And guys, bit of a long time that I've been looking forward to this one anyways. I was told that you guys are a bit of the life of the party, and I got to live that a little bit this weekend on the bus back from Kirkland Lake. And Owen, what kind of vibes do you guys like to bring to the bus after a victory?
Oh, I mean, just bumping a bunch of wind tunes and all that stuff and messing around. That's definitely what we do a lot on the bus. So,
Cayden, I'm told that you're in charge of the music, and well, it might not necessarily be my type of music, because I mean, what's Adele doing in victory playlist? But I mean, here we are. Well, take us through your DJing skills.
Well, I mean, after a game, sometimes the boys are in their feelings, so we have to kind of let it out and sing our hearts out to kind of get the vibes right for the way back.
Who's the best singer on the team?
Probably Coxie.
Yeah.
Coxie's an amazing singer. Yeah. He really gets like down deep with his lyrics and everything.
Who's the worst singer on the team?
Caleb Bellard.
Yeah.
Caleb Bellard.
No hesitation. No. They're just right under the
Caleb
bus.
Bellard is just tough.
Yeah. It's bad.
So, in that, on the flip side of that, the bus ride that you guys had earlier in the year, where you're stuck on the bus forever.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of vibes are you trying to bring to a bus ride? Like, does it eventually at that point you're just done with the vibes?
Everyone was just like trying to sleep and just get away from everybody. Like it was terrible.
I started playing Christmas music somehow, like mid bus ride. It was terrible.
September.
Yeah. We were going crazy on that bus.
Like, and I tried going for a walk, and I got called back because I couldn't stay in that bus any longer.
No.
How
far from the bus did you get before you?
Oh, probably like
good kilometer.
Probably.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. At least you got out there.
Yeah.
Helping the search.
Yeah. Yeah, this just in, a Powassan Voodoos player is missing.
Yeah,
part of the manhunt now too. What happens to you guys as players when you're on that bus and then you still think that you're gonna have a game and then they cancel it and you're still in the hotel in Hearst?
No, it was a bit tough. I mean, it was pretty nice to get a few days off, which I mean, it's not bad, but like, I think we all would rather play than not play.
Yeah, sit around.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't mind it. Like, all the boys were just in the sauna for like hours and then working out and then like ice baths and everything. The vibes were flying in the hotel. Like, it was a good time.
Bunch of gambling too.
Yeah, gambling, Brawl Stars. Those are the hot things right now.
What do you guys gamble? Like pucks or something? Like, this could get dicey, I guess.
Yeah, he's the professional.
No, a bunch of guys play blackjack, slots recently. A lot of guys are playing slots. So, I mean,
as somebody who played in Elliot Lake or around Elliot Lake, I guess last year, there's no casino in the area.
No, there wasn't.
So are you happy that you're in an area that has a casino?
Well, good thing is I can't go in. Right?
Oh, okay, perfect. You're not of age yet. Yeah, you're safe for now.
Yeah, safe for now. I can't go in there yet, but I don't know. I tag along when some of the guys go and just sit in the car and wait.
Just sit in the car? That's kind of depressing.
Yeah, and just hear how much they win or lose, which is... most of the time it's losing, so
there you go.
The vibes recently.
Yeah.
You could at least go to the restaurant at least. You can go.
Yeah. Sometimes I go in there and sit around, but not too much.
So that brings me to my next question: as a vet of probably the strangest season in Elliot Lake Vikings history, what was that like? Not really having a home rink to call your own.
Honestly, it was pretty tough. Like, I mean, when I got traded there, I wasn't really expecting there to be not a rink.
Yeah, that's
I didn't really know until I was kind of like the last day heading up there. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I didn't know there's a rink. But I mean, like, it was a good experience. It was just the rink part, like, it was tough mentally because we didn't have a good team really, and just going back and forth to the rink, it was tough.
So it would have been Blind River the first bit of the season, then it was like Massey.
Yeah.
What not only is it you're playing in an away, like a rival's barn like the Beavers, but what's that like now? You're being now we're going to Massey. Like,
yeah, I mean, Massey was a shoebox. Like, it was probably like, you can ask Cowie, he played there last year. It was probably like
that was rough.
150 feet and probably negative 20 in there the whole time. It was terrible. I mean, it was a big advantage against other teams because nobody really knew who to play in there, but it was just it was pretty awful. But
so as someone who lived through the dark days, and I know they keep talking about the arena. Well, the arena was supposed to reopen, I was told, early October, but I don't think it has yet. I think
it's not going to reopen until like December now.
Oh my god. Okay, well, as somebody who lived through those dark days, how important do you think it is to have that arena back open for that team and that community?
I think having that back open, especially with the Hockey Craftfield stuff now, I think it'll be huge for them, but it's a matter of fact of getting it open and actually being there, I think it's going to help that team. But just the Massey stuff, it's too much.
Okay, bit of a loaded question, but I think it's an easy answer. Vikings green or Voodoos green?
Oh, Voodoos green. No question.
All right, on the same token then, Cayden, Espanola green or Voodoos green?
You already know the answer. We talked about this a bit the other day.
I don't want to rag on that jersey too much more than I already do on broadcast. So.
Yeah.
Although the new ones this year,
I like the new ones a lot too. Yeah, they're nice.
So what was your experience like for, just, I guess, a year and a bit in Espanola or so?
Yeah, well, after I was leaving Georgetown, that was obviously the first place I wanted to go since they kind of helped me get my games in on the U18 year. So I kind of wanted to show my respect and go back and finish off the year there and try to make a playoff run, which we almost did. Brought it to Game 7 against Blind River, which we were the underdogs, and I felt like we should have won that series. But yeah, I had a good experience there. I loved it there, and I'm thankful for what they've done for me.
I wanted to ask, because I kind of said this to Chris when the trade went through in the early part of the season as well, to Powassan. This always kind of felt like the inevitable when it came to someone like you, especially, being close to, the Calebs and the Russos on that U18 team. Is that kind of what it felt like for you? Like eventually you might end up in Powassan?
Yeah, well, once the season ended, I knew full-heartedly that I was coming here, and there was no doubt about that. It was just about when the trade would go through and when I would get in contact with Peter. So, yeah.
So I also have to ask the big question because of the news that just came out the other day. I mean, you're named one of the 3 stars of the league. You're the first guy in the article too. What's that like? I'm assuming by that reaction, the guys have ribbed you pretty good.
Yeah, well, it's an honor, obviously. My brother asked me the other day, like we always watched the Voodoos growing up, and he's like, "What's it like playing there?" And I'm like, I didn't even really think about that, right? Because I always watched them growing up, so it's pretty cool being one of the 3 stars, especially bringing that into play. So it's pretty cool.
I mean, your Liney Russo was just a star like a week ago.
Yeah, well, it's pretty easy when they just find you all the time. So I give credit to Pels and Roos.
Is that the pucks just find them type of moment right there? Or?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
Owen last year, and then obviously coming to Powassan this year. What was your impression? I mean, Elliot Lake didn't play here very often last year, but what was your impression coming here, and what turned you onto the program to want to come?
No, obviously, I think everybody's answer is pretty much the same. It's Pete. I've only heard good things about him, and he's wanted me for a few years, and I'm like, I really wanted to come here because especially last year not being a really good year, I thought coming to Powassan and having a good year here would be a good idea. And Pete's obviously a great coach, and so far it's been great. So hopefully it can stay like that.
It's a little bit different when you have a home barn, I suppose.
Yeah, it's nice to live because I live literally 2 houses down from the rink in Elliot Lake,
perfect.
so I basically live a minute away from the rink. So it's nice to actually drive there and use the rink instead of taking a school bus to practice. But yeah.
Also, on top of that, to be a team that missed the playoffs last year, now you're on a team that made it. Was one of the final 2 teams in the league and has obviously championship aspirations. That's got to feel pretty good.
Oh
too.
yeah, it feels great to be on a winning team and all that kind of stuff.
Cayden, last year, I know we talked about this a little bit too in Kirkland Lake with you guys wanting to go on a little bit of a better run, and you thought that you might have had Sudbury's number had you got there. What would that have meant to you to play against your former teammates like Caleb and Justin in the NOJHL finals? Yeah,
that would have been an amazing experience. Like growing up and playing with those guys all the time, and then playing against them on probably the biggest stage, and at the time it matters the most, was pretty cool, I guess.
What's it like now playing with those guys again?
It's good. I got chemistry, right? So I grew up getting that chemistry, and now me and Roos have it. So, and then of course we add Pels to the equation, which kind of maxes out there, which is pretty cool.
Do you feel like kind of the odd one out on the ice because you're the only one that's not like a French last name?
Honestly, sometimes, yeah. But Pels is working on his English. I remember in training camp, he wasn't he'd say some French stuff. I'm like, what? And now it's just
he was pretty good when he was on the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I'm proud of him. I watched the podcast on the way up to Kirkland actually the other day. He's like, watch it. I'm like, okay. I'm trying to get a good episode like you did, but yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, no pressure.
No,
they were pretty good. And I'm just saying, guys, both him and McKillop promised me goal calls when they left here, and then they got them.
Yeah.
So he got 2 and McKillop got 1.
Yeah.
And
Caleb got Selly of the week too.
Yeah, he did.
That was pretty awesome.
He did. And I don't want to say, he's not a goal scorer, but he's admitted to me he's not a goal scorer. So to go and do that immediately afterwards, there's no pressure.
No, it's pretty awesome. He was sniping in practice today too.
Yeah.
You guys are pretty hyped for him.
I just want you guys to know though, like goals on the road games don't count. Like you have to do them at home.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
But I was in Sudbury when you got that absolutely disgusting snipe that we put on social media.
Yeah, I don't know how that went in, but it just went in.
Oh, I was just happy to have gotten it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I definitely needed that to get going somehow.
Open the floodgates.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's safe to say that you started a little bit slow this year. So what was kind of going through your mind on the ice, going through that type of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, obviously at the start, like it happened to me last year in LA Lake. I started off really slow, and then this year is kind of the same. I talked to my dad. He's just like, it's the same stuff as last year. Do what you can do. And I just focused on two things. And literally the first game against French, when I scored my first goal this year, I just focused on two things: finish checks and stop on pucks. And I just did
pretty good.
Yeah, it's been working out pretty good. So I can't complain there. So I mean, obviously not good to start off the season slow like that, but finally picking it up, so it's going the right way.
Yeah, it's. I was gonna say you've been pouring it on lately for sure. You've been more noticeable too, which is great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I did kind of sewer you because I sent in that hit to the game day guy.
Oh yeah.
Got blown up in the.
Oh yeah, that felt terrible. And then everyone sends stuff to the group chats and videos, and I go and check. I'm like, come on, guys, seriously.
To be fair, the guy asked, like, he's the guy who runs it. He's like, hey, if there's that, because he only gets the goals, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, I need the saves, I need big hits, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that was.
And I sent him a couple from that game, and then he chose yours, and so I kind of feel bad about that. But
No, that hit I still feel to this day.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
well, I guess you won't forget that one.
Oh no, I'll keep my head up every time now. Not doing that again.
No. Cayden, you've been right from the get-go this season, it feels like you've been pretty consistent, but it feels like you've hit another gear. Obviously, we talked about the 3 stars of the week, but it feels like you've hit another gear, and that line's hit another gear too. What's been going right for you since puck drop?
I think it's going right, but also going wrong, because every time we get the 2 goals, we can't get the hat trick. It was Pels, and then it was Roos, and then it was me, so we can't break that.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah, we'll try, but I don't really know. I think it's just our mindset. Like Pels, before every game, he just goes like, guys, like it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like just have fun doing it. That's what we've kind of been doing, and it's been working out for us.
I couldn't believe his McDonald's order when we were in KO. He like turned around. He's like, "What are you getting?" I'm like, 2 cheeseburgers and a drink.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I got like the whole menu.
Yeah.
I know. That's gambling money, just so you know.
Yeah, no,
parlays.
no, a bunch of the guys have I'm not going to name any names. A bunch of guys have a 50% off coupon for McDonald's, and every time we go, it's half off, so everybody just gets a big order. And, I mean, can't go wrong with that.
No.
I kind of feel bad for the poor employees of Kirkland Lake
Oh my God,
McDonald's.
yeah.
So after that game,
Oh, it's a disaster in there.
yeah, they had no expectations. The next thing, just like a whole busload of you guys.
Yeah, it's
walking
bad.
there.
Yeah.
That's one of the fun things though, was getting on the bus and seeing that kind of side of things of life with you guys, and it's pretty fun. I mean, on the way up, you guys were pretty quiet, but I mean, I shouldn't say pretty quiet, but it was a lot quieter on the road up. Is that kind of usually how they go? You guys are quieter, and then a big dub, you're pretty loud the whole way home?
Sometimes it depends. I mean, like, some guys are sleeping, doing school, that kind of stuff. And then, I don't know, sometimes people just talk or play cards. Like, on the longer ones, like to Hearst, it was like that. But not the shorter-ish ones.
No.
But
I think it also needs to be like that. Like, call before the storm and then just let loose after.
Yeah.
Like, we're on a win streak and it feels good, so we have to kind of celebrate somehow, right?
Yeah. So I kind of want to go back to that too. Speaking of the win streak, Owen, you guys obviously as a team as well started a little slow.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are kind of like, "What's going on here?" Because you look at the talent on the roster, and you're like,
yeah, what's going on?
"Yeah." So, but you guys have really found your footing here in the last little while. Like, what's been going right for the team as a whole?
I just think we're playing systems, and we're playing simple hockey. Like, we're not trying to do too much, and I feel like that's kind of what's been driving us. And even against like Timmins, especially against Sudbury, even like we should have beat them twice, no problem.
I agree. I hate the Cubs.
Yeah. And like, obviously it's not great, but we obviously got a point out of it in OT, and we should have at least got an OT in the other one. But I mean, just shows what we're capable of, and it's 14 games into the season. Like,
Yeah.
as long as we keep going the right way, I feel like we'll have a really good playoff run.
And for you, kid?
We're a young team at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So starting off like that was kind of a wake-up call to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, this is junior hockey. Like, it's not U18 or anything anymore in junior B. Like, hits are going to be bigger, it's going to be faster, right? So kind of we picked it up slowly, but I think we're there right now.
I kind of wanted, you touched on the U18 there as well. I kind of wanted to ask you about that season too, because we were covering that season as, calling the games and stuff. And it was a fun team to watch. But for you, what was it like being a part of a championship team at that level? And, with all the boys you'd grown up playing with?
Well, that was probably my best experience in hockey, right? Like, we had a bus fire, a bus blew up. Like, it was a crazy up and down season, but like, I'm gonna be close with those guys for the rest of my life. It's truly honored to be on that team, and it was a great season.
Owen, did you ever win a championship at that kind of level, or?
No, not quite, but there's a few chances where it could have happened.
For this year.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say this year's a pretty good year to get one.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Looking back at that championship, though, do you think it would be a bigger deal in the NOJHL because it's junior A compared to AAA?
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're saving some for this year, so we'll see what's gonna happen.
Well, the season's long, but I know we touched on it a little bit too, just talking kind of under our breath there about how everyone really loves Sudbury. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
You played in Espanola, you played in Elliot Lake, so you guys would have seen them a lot last year being in the West.
Yeah.
What's the feeling on the Cubs?
No, obviously last year, we didn't get beat too bad last year. I mean, they didn't have Signoretti yet, but they had a bunch of they had Newton.
Yeah.
Newton,
back.
Yeah, he was back in Sudbury now, which I mean, it's not good obviously, but it's not bad. And they got Insinaway and all those guys. They just play so well together, and they're so skilled. And then it's just tough because obviously LA Lake was a young team last year, so it was just a bit tough. But we put up our efforts. It wasn't the best, but we tried.
And you played with a guy who's on Sudbury now, so.
Yeah. I hate them. There's nothing else to say. Well, we were a rival, right? 45 minutes down the road. At the end of the season, we played them a lot, somehow always on our schedule. So, I mean, I love playing. I love playing there. I love the rivalry. But, I don't like Sudbury. It's not fun playing them.
What's it like as players going from the rink in Powassan, that's obviously not the biggest, to having to go play on the Olympic size pad?
I love it just because I can just go out there and skate and wheel around. But, some guys' games are a little bit different, but...
Yeah, I think you have more space, for everything. It's just nice. Like, the hits, there's less hits, you'll realize. When you come into our barn, it's just hit. Yeah, it's bad.
The game that you guys played at the showcase against them, that was probably one of the craziest comebacks I've seen, just because it felt like Sudbury was in control the whole time. I mean, what was that game like for you guys to come back? And I mean, ultimately, you fell a little bit short. I don't want to talk about that too much because... Anyways, when you give Siggy that much room in overtime, that's just you can't 3-on-3 for that is built for that guy. Right. So, but to come back in that game when I'm sure a lot of people kind of counted you out because you guys were still kind of sputtering at that time, what was that like for you guys?
No, I think most of the guys on the bench almost had a feeling we knew we were going to come back. We were in this game, and then one goal came, next goal came, and then we were tied. It was just like that. So it was pretty crazy, but fell short, which I mean happens sometimes. But it's good to go in OT.
What about you, kid?
All the credit goes to Austin in that game. Austin kept us in it for sure. I remember he had a couple crazy saves 10 minutes left, and at that point I'm like we're gonna win this game. Straight up, I knew it right then.
So what's I gotta ask, you've had an up-close experience with that guy, because I think it's safe to say that, Signoretti's probably the Connor McDavid of this league. He's just he doesn't belong in the junior A at this level. But you playing with him, Cayden, what's he like as a player up close?
Hardworking, probably.
Yeah.
Even though he's in the NOJ, he's probably one of the hardest working guys I know. I was telling a couple of guys my first day in Espanola in my U18 year, we woke up early after a game because I was staying there a couple nights, and he's like, let's hit the gym right in the morning, the sauna and stretch. And I'm like, oh, I like that. I'm like, oh.
Hard worker, doesn't give up.
No, he deserves everything he has right now.
Comes by it honestly, I suppose. Okay, we'll get away from those bums in Sudbury. Favorite team in the league. I swore on air last year during a Sudbury broadcast, and then I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But it is what it is. That's how much I love that team. I do like going there though and calling games in the showcase, because the showcase itself, I mean, you guys have been through it a couple of times. What's that been like now? That's a pretty cool event, I think, in Sudbury.
Actually, this year was probably my first year.
Oh, you came too late, I guess.
Yeah, I did the OJHL one, which was that one was.
I'm with him too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was in Buffalo.
Yeah, it was.
It was in Buffalo.
Not the hate on the one here, but the one there was so cool.
It was
like taking the the
elevator
NHL,
up.
Oh my god.
Oh, like the one that like they had like Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen drive on his full like equipment going down a couple years ago.
It was pretty cool.
It was crazy. NHL scouts everywhere. D1 scouts. There's probably 50? Like,
it was pretty. It was a pretty cool experience there, but yeah, the NOJHL puts on a pretty good one, and like Sudbury has to be the host, right? At the end of the day, like it's a sick rink, and honestly, I like playing on the other rink more than the Olympic size because I feel like
NHL size, right?
Yeah. There's like I just get the feeling like there more people are crowded, and it's just like a better atmosphere for those games.
I remember game 1 of the finals last year because that was game 4 against the Battalion and the Wolves, which we all know how that went for the Sudbury Wolves. But it was so nobody was at that game, like game 1 of the NHL finals, and the Voodoos like destroyed the Cubs in that game. So it's always a bit of a dead atmosphere, I feel, in Sudbury.
No, I I played in playoffs for Espanola 2 years ago, and I think their barn was shut down, like their main one. So they played in like I don't even know, Lively's barn or something.
Oh, really?
Sudbury. It was
was it the one in Chelmsford?
Yes,
it was
the most insane atmosphere. Like there was like 2,000 people there for the opening game, and this was my first playoff game I've ever played. I'm like, holy cow! Like it was benches were across from each other. It was packed. I was like, welcome to junior hockey.
Yeah. So as someone who unfortunately didn't get to play in the playoffs last year, how excited are you to? I mean, obviously there's still a long season ahead, but how excited do you think you'll be when that time comes?
I'm pumped. I mean, it's honestly been a while since I've been on a playoff team or anything like that. So I think once we get there, it'll be great just to see how that goes. But yeah, I'm excited.
How excited are you to get to the playoffs after that bitter taste last year?
Yeah, I want to make it far this year, and I obviously want revenge, kind of, not just on Blind River, but the entire league. Blowing a series lead like that kind of hurt, and I just felt bad for all the aways last year. Like this is their last year, and they were up. We were up 3-1, right? Hopes were up, and then kind of blew that. But Blind River was a good team, right? So
what was it, do you think, of that series that turned the table? Was it the goal? Because I can't even pronounce his name. The kid that was in net for Blind River last year was unbelievable.
Oh my god! Yeah,
there you go. See, he can say it.
Yeah,
you should come on the broadcast.
No, it obviously sucks. I remember we went up by 1 in I think it was game 5, and then from that point on, it was just kind of like the series went downhill. They got early leads, and we couldn't come back, and they were just like, they just outplayed us in the last couple of games, and it sucks. Sucks.
So when you play Blind River, the first game being at the Showcase this year, and then a couple of weeks ago another big one, is that like, even though you're not with Espanola, is that like big revenge game?
Yeah, it feels good, especially like I battled with those guys for 7 games last year, a few of them, right? So it feels good, like hating them and just like kind of like payback out on a way, right?
For you, Owen, I mean, obviously, we don't have a playoff experience to draw on, but which is the team that when you play, you're like, I want revenge against these guys?
Well, it'd be kind of ironic to say Elliot Lake, but I mean, last year, honestly, we played Blind probably 12 times. It'd be good to see those guys in the playoffs get some kind of revenge on them. Yeah.
I guess you haven't played Elliot Lake this year, right?
No, we did once.
Oh, you did?
Second game of the season.
Oh, that's right. See, that's so long ago.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at this point.
But how'd that feel for you?
It felt good. I mean, there's definitely a target on my back. I felt it right from the start because the coach was already looking at me in warm-ups, and I already knew that he's not a big fan of me, so I kind of knew that.
No pressure.
Yeah, and then all the players were chirping me. I'm just like, whatever. Just kind of let it go. But yeah, I knew right from the start that there was some kind of target to
vendetta.
Yeah.
I do have to say though, after seeing them be the Wildcats and the Red Wings, I do like the Vikings jersey.
Yeah, the Vikings jersey off is pretty nice. It's just too bad there's no rink, obviously.
Yeah. All right, so we'll talk a little bit about threats because we got a really nice one back there that we need to highlight a little bit.
Yeah.
But in general, you can't pick the Voodoos jersey because that's a cop out.
Yeah.
Who do you think has the best jersey in the league outside of Powassan?
Honestly, I like Hearst the most.
Yeah.
I think their jersey's pretty sick. Town's a little bit.
Are you like a Flyers fan in real life?
No. Unfortunately, a Leafs fan, but.
Oh, I feel that pain.
Yeah.
Who would you pick?
Other than that black jersey right there, Probably.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
No pressure.
Probably one of the Sioux. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either one of them. They both have sick
Sioux
jerseys.
Mishes are nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stripes.
Good barn too.
Yeah. Their arena and their atmosphere is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably one of the best in the league, and I'm excited for this weekend.
Yeah, we played last year. We played their Pink in the Rink and $1 beer night. 1,500 fans there, and some guy in our team, Connor Debois, got into a fight with some guy, and oh my god, the barn was shaking.
Yeah.
Like it was shaking. It was crazy.
Fights don't happen in the NOJHL very often because of the cages, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
like a couple of weeks ago when Heath like went at it.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, oh my god.
It's crazy.
And then someone got into a bit of a wrestling match in Kirkland.
Yeah.
What led to that?
Well, like, I don't know. I just kind of came out of the second intermission. I'm like, you know what? Like, if I'm going to fight, ask me this game. Like, I want to go with somebody. And I got told Peter on the bench, I'm like, Peter, like, I want to fight somebody. He's like, okay. Like, he's like, do you want to fight? I'm like, yeah.
I'm shocked he didn't tell you no.
He kind of did. He's like, are you sure? Like, I don't want you to get hurt. I'm like, nah, I want to fight. So I hit this kid, and he gives me a little shove. He's like, you want to go? I'm like, sure. So I just start punching him, and then refs get on us. So it wasn't really a fight, but I was trying to make it one kind of.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Would you drop the mitts with anyone?
I was going to last game, but
Oh, yeah?
I asked Pete with like 5 minutes left. I was like, "There's this guy that wants to go." And he's like, I asked him, "Can I go?" He's like, "Oh yeah." And then like a minute later, he's like, "Oh no, there's under 10 minutes. Don't go. Don't do it."
Yeah. I think you get suspended if it's under
Yeah,
10
you
minutes.
get a game.
You have to be careful with
Yeah,
that.
so if there was time left, I would have done it because
I'm sure you'll see KL again.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They at the battalion game on Sunday, they called the fight stage fighting or something. I've never heard that before, so you got to watch out for that.
Yeah.
Make sure it's not that.
Yeah.
Well, we have, our fourth line's like 6'4", 6'2", and like 6'6",
Yeah, we got
right?
a bunch of tall guys.
Yeah. In playoffs, that's going to be a fun line to play against.
Oh,
if they're-
Yeah.
It's gonna be disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some good pickups.
Are you like here? Do you want to fight in playoffs, or are you just regular season type of guy?
Oh, dude, I'll do any time.
Yeah?
If they want to go.
whenever.
Obviously, if I'm healthy, not, fighting someone hurt, because that's already a disadvantage, but
Yeah.
try my best.
Have you ever been in a fight?
A few times, yeah. Not,
Like full on gloves off?
yeah. I got into one in the summer, actually. It was pretty bad with some guy in Windsor. He killed me. Oh, it was
I
bad.
appreciate the fact that you can admit that though, because most
Oh,
guys
yeah.
would be like, "No, I got the better of him."
No, I kind of started like punching him, and I got his helmet off, and then at that point, I was like, "Oh, okay, we're going."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I don't want to fight anymore." He just got behind me, started pounding me, like, "Oh, it's over now. No point." But,
What about you?
I had one last year that was pretty epic.
Yeah.
Like, my jersey was off, his jersey was off. I kind of got the final punch.
Nice.
Got the crowd. Like, that was pretty awesome. I was like against Sioux Mish with like 5 games left, so it's pretty, like, we were fighting for a playoff spot because
Yeah.
you guys had a easy run at the division last year, right? And we were fighting until like the last game.
Yeah. I was gonna say easy run, not so much, but yeah, when you look at who was behind the pause
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah.
We were struggling. Like, we didn't know we were making playoffs until like last game of the season where we played Blind River. We played 8 games in a row. It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah. I remember looking at the standings being like, Espanola or Sioux Mission or whatever are gonna miss the playoffs,
Yeah.
and they're better than whoever's making it to the 4th seed in the East.
yeah.
Like,
I think the 1 division is gonna be super cool this year.
yeah.
It's better this year than it was last year because
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
play in your division. It was kind of.
I don't want to take credit for that, but we talked about that so much on the broadcast last year, being like, the Voodoos are playing, Espanola and Sudbury so much. It's like, it's not division games, whereas
Yeah.
Timmins is playing Hearst and KL and
Yeah.
Iroquois Falls all
Yeah.
the time, right? So I was like, why not? I said you should make it into 4 divisions, like 4 little pockets, and then just the playoffs are 1 to 8.
Yeah.
And then somebody at the league was like, hey, that's a good idea, except
Yeah.
for the 4 divisions
Yeah.
part. But
Yeah.
so I like that idea a lot. It's going to make for an interesting playoff run, though, because I think the last I looked at the standings, between like 9 or 10 to like 3, there was only like 5, 6,
Yeah.
7 points separating you guys.
It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be like cool how it plays out kind of at the end of the year, right? Because we won't know probably until the last few weeks of the season, kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas in the East it was okay. Powassan's
Yeah.
probably playing Hearst, and
Yeah.
where? Okay, now is it going to be home ice advantage or not?
Yeah.
It's the only thing that had to be determined because it was French River, KL, and Iroquois Falls were literally fighting for last place. It felt
Yeah,
like.
which I felt bad for
Yeah.
you guys because all your series were like so far apart. Like it was 2 games, 4 hours or 6
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, I didn't have to go on the bus, so I
Yeah,
couldn't play.
oh, you're lucky.
yeah.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
Welcome to the Clubhouse by Gateway Golf. Located on Oak Street East in North Bay, with over 200 plus real-time courses, simulator arcade games, and delicious eats, the Clubhouse is North Bay's newest social hangout. You can book times now at gatewaygolf.ca or come visit at 245 Oak Street East in North Bay, Ontario. The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie-resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
The Frontline podcast is broadcasted from inside the 360 Goaltending Icebox in North Bay, Ontario. 360 Goaltending, redefining Canadian goalie culture.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1. Our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2. Northern Honda has the lowest tire price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3. The lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
Kids Sport North Bay is an organization that helps kids who otherwise couldn't get in the game with grants of up to $500. You can donate or find out more at www.kidsportcanada.ca.
I've never been to Hearst yet, so I do want to experience that.
Oh, it's an interesting town, that's for sure.
Yeah. I've been told by many people, because so I work at Ontario Northland, so the railway's there in town, and I've dealt with it, I've called guys that work up there to go to work, because that was my original job, and I've heard from many people that Hearst has the highest millionaires per capita in Canada.
Yeah.
Because they're all lumber barons, right?
Well, there was a couple, we went to Tim's and there was 2 or 3 Porsches and stuff on the way.
Yeah, it was
and then we
crazy.
met up with the Hearst guys on the way there. Me and Rotundo were talking to them for a bit.
Yeah.
They were like, let's get this game going. We're like, we're in no shape to play. We're just gonna bust.
Yeah, they were going moose hunting, right?
Yeah, they got all their orange on,
And they still wanted to get going.
We're like, what do you guys do up here? They're like, just hunt. We're like, that's pretty sick.
It's not a bad way to spend your time.
Not at all.
No.
What time did you guys end up rolling into Hearst at?
What was it, 2 in the afternoon?
Yeah, probably.
Pretty late.
So then technically you could play the game, but there was no way.
It was, I don't think anybody was prepared to move.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Pelt
legs would be real.
Oh, yeah.
Peltier has short hamstrings, so he was feeling
those short hamstrings are no joke.
Yeah.
They're dangerous,
He complains about them all the time. And a bit of broken English sometimes.
I wish I knew that before he came up.
He's a game player. He doesn't really practice that much, to be honest.
Hasn't really been a practice week at all either. So.
No, he's one of those guys. My hammy's hurt.
Exactly.
My hammy's hurt. But game time, all right.
I'm good to go.
Yeah. Well, I think he wasn't doing too well, because we have these workouts after our practices on Monday, and it's
hill sprints.
Yeah, it's real. So he was yakking at the bottom of the hill during hill sprints. So he's take the day off.
It's all that McDonald's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It has to be.
I think he had junior chicken, 10-piece McNugget.
Oh my god.
He was proud of it. He was showing me the receipt, and I'm like, dude. I was I wish I could still eat like that. I eat a burger now, and it's 20 pounds.
Yeah. Coxie had a milkshake, but he didn't finish that. That went all over the floor.
Yeah,
I heard about that.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Because Dubes came up and he's like, "Do you guys have paper towels?"
No, Coxie was just throwing it around, basically. Just throwing it all over the bus. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. So I just won a game. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Do whatever you want. Coxie does what Coxie wants, I guess.
Yeah. He lives by a different set of rules.
Yeah.
Goalies are weird, is what I've heard from a lot of this. So
yeah.
That's probably one of the weirdest ones there.
Yeah.
So we talked about jerseys. One of the staple kind of questions that I end up asking on all these is, what's the best rink in the league and what's the worst rink in the league? And usually the same answer is always for the worst. I always have the same answer for the worst rink.
Yeah, I like Timmins a lot too, but honestly, like Hearst last year was pretty cool. Like we played there on their Build Appreciation Night, and there's like 2,500 people there, and that barn's sick. Yeah. Especially when the Moose is going off when they score.
Do you like when the Moose goes off when they score against you? Come on, like
I didn't really care last year.
It's so loud.
I've heard Legend of the Moose. So I've never seen it.
And a bunch of crazy French fans too. Like, it's nuts.
Okay, so the worst rink for you?
I would say Massey, but no, I can't. Honestly, like I'd say the T-Birds rink. I like warming up there. Just going on the ice and playing that rink. I don't like it that much. It doesn't really feel like a junior hockey rink per se. It's
Fair enough. I've never been there either.
Yeah, no. Cowie knows. Like it's not the best rink, but it's not bad.
I have mixed emotions because that's where we won our championship.
I would
so
say
I'm like, every time I'm there, I'm like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
best and worst.
I'm going Massey.
That's the worst?
Yeah, obviously.
No, it's a bad rink.
Have you been there?
No.
Well, we played them there on a Pride night, and it was like they had a lot of fans, but it was just like not the atmosphere.
It's always like -20, like freezing. Like,
and it's pretty cold in the sports.
The rooms are separated by this little curtain. Like you were literally holding hands when you guys go on the ice. It's bad.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah. Best. I know everyone says Timmins, but I'll probably go Sumish or Blind River because I had a good experience there. Because like our game 7 was sold out within an hour of the morning. It was
really
coolest atmosphere I've ever played in. Yeah. So I'm probably gonna go Blind River or Sumish, one of those two.
Yeah, most guys pick Timmins.
Yeah.
Which I've heard I haven't been either. Most guys pick French River as the worst.
Oh yeah.
So
it's
better
bad.
this year because they have a decent team this year.
Yeah.
Right? So there's more fans, but.
It's not the best rink.
Yeah, the last couple years, it's been absolutely dead.
And this is the part where I asked for my sponsorship from the concession stand in French River, but that concession stand is top tier.
Oh yeah,
it's like homemade food.
I gave Coxie my wrap because we ended up stopping at Tim's. I'm like, I need some cookies. Coxie got food poisoning, so
really?
Yeah, he was out for the count for the next couple of days.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Okay, well I've never had that issue there.
No. I'm not. No bad review. I'm just saying, Coxie.
No.
Yeah.
Coxie had the best experience.
That's what happens when Coxie does what Coxie.
Okay, well I'm going to tell you right now. Don't let that deter you when you go back to French River. Because that's the first bad thing I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Usually when I went last year on the bus with the guys, everyone just like piled in there and was like getting their post-game meal ready, like just asking for it. And then I remember some of the guys were even bringing food to the locker room before the game. I'm like, oh my God, how do you guys eat like fries and then go?
No.
This year we're big on like stopping at Tim's against some double chocolate cookies.
Yeah,
like,
those are good.
That's the move this year.
Well, it was great on the way up to KL because we stopped at the Tim's in Englehart, and I've worked in Englehart before.
Yeah,
and I'm just I'm really glad this is just like a quick stop.
Oh yeah,
because I don't want to spend any more time in Englehart.
Yeah, it's not like the McDonald's stop. That's the worst one because you're there for like 30 minutes.
The McDonald's one,
they have to cook all the food and stuff, which is a pain.
See all the orders pile up, and like the workers are stressing. They think you're gonna have a calm night.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Like it's a Saturday night in KL. What else is going on? And then next thing, 30 teenagers just walk in there. Want some McDoubles, please?
It's crazy.
There's a funny story that reminds me of that. Though, was a few years ago. I worked at the movie theater down here in North Bay, and on my walk home, I'd walk by McDonald's. So some nights, if like I get out at like 2 a.m, I'm gonna go in and grab a couple of burgers and go home. So I told my buddy, I said, some nights I'll just go and I'll get 3, 4, sometimes 6 burgers. He's like, how many can you order? I said, as many as you want. Like, he had no idea.
Yeah.
So he's like, do you want to go to McDonald's right now? I was like, sure. He's like, how many do you think you could eat? And I'm like, I could probably do 7 right now because I hadn't eaten like all day. So he goes up to the counter and he's like, can we get 14 burgers?
Oh my God.
And the lady's like, sure. So then she like walks to the back. She's like, I want you to know they ordered 14. It's not a joke. They want 14.
Yeah, I know.
And all the alarms started going off for how long it was taking them.
Those burgers are deadly.
Yeah. Well, it was just like a cheeseburger. It wasn't anything crazy. So
but
I always kind of feel bad. But I felt secondhand embarrassment when we were in there just because I'm like, I feel so bad for these.
Yeah, because then like we'll see like our McFlurry or someone just sitting right there and like, oh, it's right there.
Yeah.
And then we feel bad for asking because they got so much stuff to worry about.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild experience. So, okay, so then on that type of token, because when Reed DeBox was on, he talked about his craziest rink experience in general. He said the worst place he's ever played is the Peterborough Memorial Center.
Sounds like Boxy. Sounds like Boxy. Sounds like him.
Man.
Just the reaction was really good to that. Yeah. So on that token, guys, what's the craziest rink you've ever played in, and what's the worst rink you've ever played in general, not just the NOJHL?
Yeah, I mean, when I was in Coburg, honestly, that rink is electric, especially when we're doing the purple shirt night. There's probably like 4,000 people there, and we're playing Trenton too, which is the top team in the league, and we won. And I didn't play a lot, obviously, but it was probably one of the best experiences I've been a part of, like when I was in Coburg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, the worst is it Peterborough? No.
Honestly, I probably have to stick with Massey. That is probably the worst rink I've ever played in my life. Like, it was a good experience. It's just the rink is just, it's like negative 20, and the boards are like super thick. So when you get hit, there's no forgiveness, and it like hurts.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just it's a terrible rink.
So obviously your experience with the NOJHL wasn't overly terrible.
No, it wasn't at all. No, it's just the rink. The rink was just awful.
Fair enough. And for you?
I'm gonna keep it Massey, but I'm gonna go best rank is probably Leamington.
Yeah.
Like Flyers.
Rink's good.
They had like OHL crowds there. It's so cool. The fans get
like
into
3,000 fans and stuff a game.
Because they were a junior B team, right? And they jumped up to junior A, and they had a good season because they ended up beating like the Georgetown Raiders in the first round. But yeah, it's a sick atmosphere there. Tons of fans. It's pretty cool.
So when you went to Georgetown last year, it was last year. You started with them. What was your kind of I kind of want to go and play on Espanola moment? Like, did you have it? Like, was it just not what you expected, or because I've only ever heard good things?
It was. There was. Yeah,
playing the OJ.
Yeah,
Georgetown's one of those teams.
It was a sick experience, to be honest. Probably what like kind of deterred me was I wasn't living in Georgetown. I was living kind of in Milton, so it was a farther drive, and it was like 45 minutes to practice, like an hour there, and there was only one road, so the traffic was terrible because there was construction. So then I saw I always heard Siggy wins player of the week, Horgan, Fergie, and then I'm like, I kind of want to go back and try to make a run for it, right? So that's kind of this decision I ended up making mid-season.
And for you to make the decision, obviously not full on knowing what you're walking into with Elliot, but making that decision to move up north.
No, I mean, honestly, it wasn't my first option because I was supposed to, Pete really wanted me last year when I was getting traded from Coburg, and I was supposed to come to Powassan, but he kind of just told me, you won't really play here. We have a older team, a stronger team. You won't be seeing that much. You'll probably be playing fourth line. So I'm like, okay, I might as well go somewhere I'll play. So it was really between the T-Birds and Elliot Lake, and my agent at the time was just kind of leaning towards Elliot Lake because he'll play more, and I'm like, I don't really care. I'll just go play more. And then I found out the rink and all the other stuff. And we know.
Did you have a stern conversation with your agent after that?
Oh yeah, trust me, I did.
What did you get me into?
Yeah. No, I got a new agent now, so
that explains everything.
Yeah,
explains a lot.
In the interview process, are you going to send me to a team that doesn't have a home barn?
Yeah. I was like, oh my god.
You're hired.
Yeah. It's like, oh my god, but yeah, I mean, nothing to take away from LA Lake. It was a great experience. It was just, the rink was just.
It's kind of like a joke. I get it, the whole thing, but at the same time, you feel bad for the community because they lost.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and unexpectedly too.
And everybody in the community was deteriorated. They were just they didn't know what to do with themselves because it's a bunch of older people.
Yeah, well, it's a retirement town.
Yeah, and they would try and get people to go on buses and games, but it was just it was too much. It was almost it was too much effort being put in to get people to come to the games, and it was just.
And it's not like Massey's that close.
Oh no, it's an hour away, and it's
it was closer to us basically.
Yeah,
it was 40 minutes from us.
Yeah. I would say even closer, probably.
Yeah, it was
close.
We would drive the games. We didn't take a bus. We'd get the cars, and we'd all have to drive behind each other.
Yeah.
And the cops would be waiting, of course. So we'd all have to go the speed limit. And, it was
those damn paper kings.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mom's friends moved to Elliot a couple of years ago, And I was like, oh, you know, they got a good junior A team. Well, it had been a rough year with the Red Wings at the time. But I was like, they have a good junior A team. You can go to a couple of games. And as soon as they get there, it's like the arena closes.
Yeah. Well, they have some money now, right? Which is, I think it's gonna be a pretty cool rink. Like,
they're like installing like old NHL glass and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Like, so once they finish, it'll be good. It's just, I don't know. Like when I was there, they just kept delaying, saying it's not done. Like the workers, like every time, because we had to go to the rink to go to Massey.
Yeah.
Every time we go, the workers are just sitting around doing nothing. Like actually, and I'm like,
I work in a unionized environment. You don't have to tell me anything else.
Yeah,
I know exactly what that's like.
And I would jokingly yell at them like, "You boys getting to work?" And like they start laughing at me. Like, how's the rink coming along? Like,
so did you ever get to actually skate there? Or was it just like
no? I got to go in the room, which was full of construction stuff.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, but no, I never even saw inside the rink. I was just like, nah, whatever.
So when you guys go later this year, that'll be like kind of like a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's if the rink's ready.
Yeah, that's a big if.
If the rink is ready, I think their home opener will be
it's
the
gonna
coolest
be
NOJHL moment.
Because last year when all the guys were telling me when I got there, the home opener when they played Timmins and won an OT, it was like there was 1,000 fans in that rink and it only fits like 250. Like it was packed and it was crazy. So
yeah, well, it kind of was almost like when the Jays came home after COVID, right?
Oh yeah,
it'll be kind of that same vibe. I kind of think. The thing about it though is I remember the old trainer for the Voodoos, JJ. When I asked him that question, he said there was one road trip to Elliot Lake one year that he's like, "You want to go in my place because I hate going to that rink." Yeah, like I just heard it was so bad and in such rough shape.
Chain net and everything.
Yeah, no, the good thing is they
hit the crossbar. Just
the chains. Yeah, no. The good thing is they're fixing it now, so at least that'll be good. But.
Yeah. So when you were in AP and stuff for Espanola, did you get to play there?
No. All my games with Espanola were Sudbury.
I know there was a Powassan one.
Yeah, there was one.
Because Chris and I were sitting there in the corner being like, look at this guy. What a loser.
It was fun. Yeah, I know. But,
how dare he play for Espanola?
Yeah, but it was a fun
Chris
AP
was nicer,
season.
by the way.
Yeah.
I was more mean. I was like, I don't even know this guy.
Hopefully.
I don't even know this guy. I just call his name on the Trappers broadcast.
Like I'd get back from like a road trip with them and I've had a game the next day and it was just it was a busy schedule, but it was fun. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
But you as an AP got to play a lot of games. That's pretty crazy. Like good for you.
That was pretty cool. Like after I scored my second game and after that they just put me with Signoretti on the first line. I'm like, this is awesome. Like I didn't look back after that.
And they were giving you like a name bar and stuff too. We were like, who does this guy think he is? He's an AP. He's got a name bar. What?
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Go back to the Trappers.
I know. It was a good season though. It was fun.
Yeah. I'll never knock you for trying to further your career, but Espanola. I know I won't bring it up too much. We won't get into it too much here, but man, their Instagram game needs a little bit of work. Anyways, you heard it here. He agrees. No, that's some wild stuff. It'll be fun though for Elliot Lake to get their rink back, and I'm sure that kind of like that Highway 17 corridor between Blind River, Elliot Lake, and Espanola will just be electric again.
But hopefully they get their rink back soon. But I don't know. I talk to my billets in Elliot Lake all the time, and I'm just like, when anything updates on the rink, no, they keep on delaying, and I'm like, oh.
Well, I remember because we were in Sudbury for the showcase, and there's a bakery there in Sudbury that I have to go to every time I'm there, and Chris eats usually half of it during the day while we're calling games. He didn't this year. He only got like one of the things that we bought, but this podcast has just become, let's throw Chris under the bus, but which is one of my favorite things to do.
Of course.
But anyways, she said, at the time we had heard like, oh, it was like early October, it was reopening, and then the baker was like, oh, did you hear like somebody drove into the arena or something? It's not going to be like another 2 months.
That's
like,
crazy.
What?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, that's so unfortunate because of everything that's going on there. Yeah. But last year for you playing in Espanola when everything was going on in the town with like the paper mill and stuff, what was that kind of like? Do you think that the team was a good distraction for a lot of people that were going through some turmoil with their jobs and stuff?
Honestly, like I wasn't there a lot, but kind of like moving there last year, like it was kind of like right when the mill was actually shutting down, and my billet mom worked there, but she kind of like kept everything running. So even if everyone was laid off, she was still there every day. Yeah. But like the town was still booming even after it shut down. Like,
Oh, that's good.
And like our fans for the game were always like over like 400 or 500, which is pretty good for Espanola, and especially during playoffs. They were like over 1,000 every game, which is sick.
I've never, so the only barns I've been into in the NOJHL is Sudbury, French River, Cochrane when they had a team, now KL and Powassan. So I've never been to Espanola, and someone was like, yeah, the neutral zone in Espanola is like 5 feet.
Yeah.
It's like tiny there.
Yeah, same with KL too. That one's tiny.
Yeah, it is. You got big offensive zones.
Yeah,
I know, it's nice.
I think it's it's a fun game to play, right? Because after you get in the zone, like if you have possession, it's just like, okay, like it's time. Like you're getting a goal or something.
You guys got a few in KL on the weekend.
Oh yeah.
What's going? So I got to ask though. You know, KL's having a pretty tough season. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind when you guys build like a 3-1 lead and they come back and tie it though in the second period? Like,
it was honestly a bit nerve wracking. Like, I will say, like, everyone was probably on their heels, and then kind of when we got that 4-3 lead when Tundo scored, that was big and kind of took some of the nerves off. But obviously a bit nerve-wracking, especially when we're up, 6-4?
Yeah.
And then they scored one.
Yeah.
And it was a 1-goal game, and then when Russo scored the 7th one, and then we're like, oh, okay, we're good. But it was definitely a bit nerve-wracking, and they were starting to come back. I'm like, oh, no. But, no.
The first game was bad, too. Like, we're rolling in there. It's like, it's a point night.
Yeah.
30 seconds in off the skate. It was like a holy shit moment. Like, strap in, like it's not gonna be that easy. It was once we got the hang of it, we kind of took over, but it was like 2-0. Like let's come back.
Yeah.
Well, when we were in that Timmy's in Englehart, I was standing in line with Reed to box, and he's like, "Yeah, I hate this rink because it's so dim in there."
I like it. I like it a lot.
I didn't play there last night because I was hurt because of the NOJHL of the week, but
you're welcome.
No, but I was just like, oh, this rink's not that bad. Like it's probably the nicest
rink. Yeah, it's got a bowl. It's got all the NHL guys.
It is nice.
They're not the greatest team, but could get better.
It's so wild because I remember when I first started hanging around the Voodoos in 18-19, their first playoff series was against KL, and they won in 6 games, and KL was really good that year. And they won a championship a couple of years before that, so it's just like wild to me how far it's kind of.
Everyone has their steps, just like the Leafs. So,
are you a Leafs guy too?
I am. Like they're my parlay tonight, so I need them to win against Boston. So
I put $20 on them, so they better win tonight.
I got Matthews on my fantasy team, so I had to pick someone up tonight because I'm just like,
he's hurt.
Yeah.
What do you think of the game last night? Football game.
The Bills.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, the one last night was, I guess,
KC.
KC. No, I didn't watch that one, to be honest with you. I heard it went to OT, though, and it was electric.
These guys had a bunch of parlays that missed by one yard.
I had 4 parlays, all like 10 legs, and they all missed by 1.
No.
Every single one. One of them missed.
That's heartbreak. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
I almost feel worse about that than the hit of the week.
Yeah. No, one of them had, I need 25 yards. He had 25, then he went back 1. And then I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
The NOJHL media thing is pretty cool this year. Like
the game day?
That's nice. Up. I saw that I was just scrolling. I'm like, is this the OJ one? Because the OJ's already had it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the NOJHL. Like, that's awesome. I was showing everybody.
There might be a podcast in the works too, but I can't really confirm or deny. Anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, their game, and he's such a good guy too. Alex or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just really wild that he lives in like BC.
Does he?
Yeah. So like,
there's no way.
Yeah, he lives in BC. So like, I'll get emails from him at like 5 a.m. Like,
yeah.
Or like, cause he'll send us the video for the broadcast to play at the beginning. But I genuinely look forward to it, even if the Voodoos aren't playing. I genuinely look forward to watching.
Cool.
Except there is, I will say this on the broadcast or podcast here though. He messed up when Blind River's coming into town. He said it was their first meeting between you guys.
Yeah.
Nope, that's number 2, Alex.
Yeah.
Bad, terrible guy.
That was a shitty way to end that game. I didn't feel good. Lots of the guys remember.
That was such a good game though. Like
it was. And we tied it up late, right? Like I was just, and then we lost in overtime.
I unfortunately know the ref who made the no goal call on.
Oh my god. He said it was in, I think. or something
No,
like that.
he told me, he said from where he was, he says the way the puck bounced, he's like, there's no way. Because I saw him the next day at the battalion game, and I asked him, and he's like, no, there's no way. The way the puck bounced, and I was like, I don't know, man. I called it as a goal, so clearly I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Even though you're on the ice right there. But.
He called one off for me because I kind of like swatted it.
I mean, that one's fair to call
I
out.
know. I'm like, yes. I'm like, damn it. Like, no. Mixed emotions.
Yeah, there was like Misa hit the crossbar.
Yeah, that was
crazy.
Yeah, then you did that, and that was like the only one that I was like, the Misa one. I was like, all right, the way the puck bounced, that definitely hit something.
Yeah.
But then with yours, that was the only one on air at the time that I was like, okay, yeah, that's not a goal.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Sorry, Cayden, trying to give you some phantom points here.
Yeah.
But then the Dubroy one, I was like, that's a goal. And then his dad was funny on Facebook afterwards. He's like, we just lost a game in overtime that we already won.
Yeah.
So,
I love games like that, like that go down to the wire. Like that's, in my mind, that's more fun to play than a 5-0 victory or something.
Yeah.
Like,
those
are just electric, right?
Yeah. Blowouts. The blowouts are nice from like a fan's perspective because like, okay, we can like calm down and not heart palpitating. But so I wanted to ask you then about Timmins before the KL game. That was a pretty big one. You guys took him down. That was your first win against them this year. I don't know if you guys knew, but that's Peter's first home win against the Rock.
He gave us like a good speech up in the room before that game. Like he put on, what movie was it?
Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
He put like he played like 5 minutes of that and was like, all the boys were like, I'm ready to go.
Well, you guys were ready to go. You came out, I think it was 2-0 after the first or something?
3 and they came back.
You guys need to work on your second periods a little bit.
We're trying.
First little bit, it was the first period. Now it's the second. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's keep it away from the third. Let's not push it that far back. But that game, because Chris was like kind of giving us a heads up, and then I looked it up and I was like, oh my god, he's 0-10 at home against the Rock. If you count the playoffs,
they haven't won since 2021. He was saying.
Yeah. So, and that used to be the rivalry in like the 1920 season. That was like it.
It felt good to get that one for sure.
It felt really good to call that game. I'll tell you that right now.
Take them down.
Because it was like the playoffs last year were so weird. It was the home team lost every game in that.
Yeah, I remember watching that. That was a weird one.
Yeah, well, there was that, and then the year before with the North Bay Battalion against Barrie in the second round, whichever team scored first lost the game.
Yeah. I went to a couple of those games down in North Bay.
Yeah.
Close games, but no.
Well, so I'm friends with Dallin Wakely, so it really kills me inside that he plays for the Colts now. Yeah. So I'm kind of like half-ass cheering for the Colts, like.
Yeah.
And then somebody goes to their camp this summer.
Yeah.
And it's Well, guys, we'll leave it on that note, though. We won't drag you around too much more, although I'm sure we'll have to have you on at some point again, just to kind of throw you on the proverbial bus again, especially with your music choices.
We'll see. I'll try to step it up.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, guys, though, thank you so much for coming on the show. I guess we'll shake hands. There we go.
Thank you.
Perfect. That's Cayden Kowal and Owen Kahl here on the Frontline.
The Frontline, hosted by Courtney Kenny, the official podcast of the Powassan Voodoos.